Let me ask you a question. When you have a personal conflict with someone, how do you handle it? Chances are you spend a great deal of time negotiating a compromise, or maybe just argue until one of you walks away the winner.
Well, what if you have an issue with, say, a mechanic, a retail store, a plumbing contractor? How do you resolve it?
What if it's more serious? You get sued by a neighbor, audited by the IRS, or you have your identity stolen. Where do you turn?
Do you have the power to influence a national auto chain or a multi-million-dollar clothing store? Would you even know what to do in front of a judge, an IRS auditor, or a credit repository? Wouldn't it be great if you did?
You can. There is a visionary company that is leveling the playing field, balancing the power for you, for me, and for all North Americans.
The company is Prepaid Legal Services Incorporated. Located in the heart of Oklahoma, they have been working to balance the power for people just like you for more than 35 years. In fact, approximately 1.5 million members and their families live stronger, safer, and with greater peace of mind as a prepaid legal member with the Life Events Legal Plan.
What we have done is to develop a plan that gives the average American family access to the top quality lawyers in North America to get the answers and to get the legal help that you need.
You can't get equal justice under the law if you can't get into the front door, and you can't get into the front door unless a lawyer leads you there. So prepaid legal is filling the gap for a lot of people.
Some of you might hear prepaid legal and think, I've lived my whole life without having an attorney. Why would I pay in advance for something I've never needed? Well, because it's not about whether you absolutely have to have an attorney. It's about whether having an attorney could make a difference by empowering you to make better decisions, resolve conflicts, and have peace of mind.
People are realizing that they need to have access to good, competent legal advice to be able to make better decisions. I've seen so many people that, bought a house, signed a mortgage, bought a car, and they're now in a rough financial situation because they did not have somebody give them advice on that situation. So to simply be able to have access to an attorney is a powerful thing.
It's just amazing how many people that I come into contact on a daily basis that really, are telling you of a need that they have, and we have a solution to their problem.
Having a provider law firm backing you up, it handles the whole situation more easily. It's just a phone call away.
It's one of those things that if you never have it, you can't miss it. But as soon as you have it, you're never going to want to be without it.
Think about it. If you were told one thing, but the lease you signed says another, who has the power?
When that furniture you just bought falls apart and the manufacturer won't honor the warranty because they don't believe your story, who has the power?
When the dry cleaner ruins your favorite shirt and tells you it was dropped off that way, who has the power?
Well, if they have an attorney and you don't, they have the power. But who's going to go hire an attorney at a few $100s an hour over a $200 repair or a $40 shirt? You just won't do it, and they know it.
It's not about who's right or what's fair, it's about who has the power. Well, with prepaid legal services, you have the power. It's a balance of power that protects your legal rights for the life events that happen every day in our lives.
I had a home in foreclosure and I had 3 children, and I didn't know what to do.
I bought a product at a department store and it was defective.
A telephone company overcharged me for service that I no longer had.
I picked my car up, and guess what? The car didn't even make it home.
The attorneys wrote one letter to pull my home out of foreclosure.
I called Prepaid Legal up. They sent a letter on my behalf, and at the end of the week, I get a call from a representative from the company saying, that's not our store policy. We apologize, and we'd like to give you a full refund on the product.
What Prepaid Legal did for me was they wrote a letter to that company which switched the tables on the company, and then they said, listen, we'd rather just pay the $60 fee instead of going to collections or having to deal with a lawsuit.
Having a lawyer gives you, and it gave me, the respect and legal justice that so many of us do not get without legal representation.
The first area of coverage is preventive legal services. There are several benefits in this area, all designed to help you prevent legal situations from becoming a legal crisis. First, you get toll-free phone consultations on an unlimited number of matters. That means anytime you have a question, you can get answers. Not sure how to handle a situation at your kid's school? Call your attorney. Want some advice before you file a complaint with the city? call your attorney. Your attorney will also make phone calls and write letters on your behalf. If your attorney decides that a phone call or letter from them is the best thing to do, they'll make the call or write the letter. Imagine how much easier it is to persuade that mechanic or contractor when they get a letter from your attorney. Contract and document review is another great benefit under Preventive Legal Services. Your provider lawyer will review an unlimited number of personal legal documents, up to 10 pages each every year. If you're leasing a car, buying a house, or simply don't understand a warranty you received, have your attorney take a look before you sign. You might be surprised what you're agreeing to. The final benefit of the Preventive Legal Services coverage is will preparation. As a prepaid legal member, you can have your will prepared and then have it reviewed and updated each year at no additional charge. Covered family members can also have their will prepared for only $20. This is one of the most important steps you can take to protect your family, but 6 out of 10 Americans haven't done it. Usually because, like most other legal issues, it's expensive. But getting the advice and assistance you need shouldn't be a financial decision.
People just can't afford $100, $150, $200 an hour. And if they don't know their rights, they don't have any.
It's all about the ability to be able to contact an attorney and get some advice so that the little problems in life don't become big problems.
We had a company calling our house threatening us over $92.20. If I didn't have prepaid legal, I would have never called an attorney at $200 an hour for a $92 problem. But because we had prepaid legal, we called the law firm. The law firm wrote a cease and desist letter. It says you must cease and desist all contact with our client pursuant to the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. I mean, the letter scared me. I almost wrote myself a check for $92. But of course, we had prepaid legal write that letter, and we've never heard from that company again.
I never thought to use an attorney before, but now that I don't have to think about it, it gives me power. So all the times before when I said, you're gonna hear from my attorney, and I knew I didn't have one, and they knew I didn't have one, now I have one now. And I don't have to check my pocketbook before I check my rights. So it's just awesome to be able to have access.
There really is no limit to the number of ways prepaid legal members have saved time, money, and heartache by using the Preventive Legal Services. Time and time again, one phone consultation, one letter written on your behalf, or even the preparation of a will can save you enough money to pay for your membership for several years. But this is just one area of coverage. There are many more areas available to you as a prepaid legal member.
The second area of coverage is motor vehicle legal services. The first thing most people think of is traffic court. And yes, this area provides assistance with moving traffic violations. Now, if you get caught speeding, you'll most likely pay a fine or court costs. But having legal assistance can often help you keep points off your record and keep your insurance costs down. We also understand that bad things happen to good people. And unfortunately, automobile accidents can lead to charges such as manslaughter or vehicular homicide. So if you ever need to defend yourself against these serious charges, your provider lawyer will be there for you at no additional cost. Now, it's important to note that the motor vehicle legal services are available 15 days after enrollment and that they aren't designed to give you permission to be reckless or irresponsible. Your driver's license needs to be valid, your vehicle must be properly licensed, and DUI, DWI, and certain other charges won't be covered under this benefit. But they will be covered under the consultation benefit and the discounted services we'll get to in a few minutes.
The next area of coverage is trial defense services. Know anybody that's been sued? It can be incredibly stressful and financially devastating. Under this benefit, you and your spouse are covered for civil suits or job-related criminal charges. As a new member, you start with 75 hours of attorney time, divided as 17.5 hours for pretrial and 57.5 hours for actual trial time. Each year, that number increases until the 5th year when it reaches 335 hours. Now, this isn't trial time for divorce, child custody, or things like bankruptcy. Instead, those are covered as part of the consultation benefit and discounted legal services. It's difficult to put a value on the trial defense services portion of the membership.